are you making the most of the moment? Are you enjoying the moment as much as you can? Are you making your time worthwhile? Are you doing everything you can to really be in this moment? Well, what exactly is making the most of the moment? To me, making the most of the moment is absorbing your sensual experiences as much as you can, because that's all it is, really. A moment is just the sensual experience that you're receiving, that you're absorbing. Your hearing, your eyesight, your taste. So, is it making the most of that? Is it truly focusing on that? Oh wow, this coffee tastes so good, or this mountain is beautiful. I don't think it's only that, because you can't only be focusing for a long time on that. I think it's also where your headspace is at. It's like letting go of the external worries that is bothering you at that time. It's letting go of this externality, or just whatever on the external, which is not in the moment. There's many things that you're going to be thinking about, your headspace is going to be focused on, that is not controllable in the moment. It's not something you can change within those few instances that you are in. So why do you need to focus on them? Why do you need to continue thinking about them? That's not how you're going to continue making the most of the moment. I think also it's making the most of the people that you're with. I don't think you're making the most of these people and enjoying these people if you're focused on the different perspectives or the perceptions that are holding you back, or these perceptions that or these thoughts of the self-image, or the perception that they have on you. Those aren't things that are truly in the moment. They're more obscure, abstract, and they're once again more external. You're not going to be able to change them by one single act. You're not going to be able to prove to them that this certain perception you think that they have of you is not true. You can't do that by one single act. So why are you trying to prove that to them? You're not going to be making the most of the moment. I think making the most of a moment with someone, with people, is probably making fluid conversation, where you're letting go of these external worries, and you're focused on random conversation, or simply an open conversation where you're expressing different emotions that you've been feeling in your life. I think that's making the most of the moment. Another thing is that I think I oftentimes find myself overpraising a moment, like oversaturating how good this moment is. And I think that comes from an insecurity of not being able to make the most of the moment. For instance, I'm going to be like, yo, this is amazing. Oh my God, look at these mountains. They're beautiful. But if I say that over and over, if I'm continuously praising this moment, I think it's important to express it. And if you're someone that never really expresses gratitude for where you are, you're not necessarily, that's just a bit like not really, like you're not very aware of it in that sense. But I think if you're overpraising it, like I often do, it's not really going to lead to anything. Yes, you've acknowledged it, but now you can move past it, and you're not going to, just expressing it over and over isn't going to make the moment better. I think making the moment better, or truly trying to make the most of it, is, like I said before, noticing small things, noticing the little details in this moment. The way your friend is saying this certain word, which is quite funny, or it's just cool, or yeah, this coffee, or how good it tastes. And I think that it's simply, as I said, the headspace. Like it's making sure that the headspace you're in is the correct one to make the most of the moment. So what exactly is the key to making the most of a moment? And I don't think there's a definitive answer to this, but I think one of the key ways, obviously, is to be present, truly acknowledge where you are. But how do you do that? What does that even look like? I think what's essential to that is honesty. I think it's being honest. If you're with people, it's very much being honest with the people you're with. If there's something that's bothering you in your mind, it's only gonna avalanche and further intensify if you're not expressing it. If there's something that's tense within you and you're not expressing it, and you're with people and it's on your mind, you're not going to be making the most of the moment and the people you're with if you're not honest with them, if you're not honest about how you're feeling. Even if it has nothing to do with them, even if it does have something to do with them, that communication's, I think, going to be key. I think more to it is also acceptance. When you're alone, when you're alone, it's accepting who you are. It's accepting this external, like I said before, these different worries that you're having, accepting them, truly accepting them, and understanding that you won't be able to control them. You won't be able to change them in that moment necessarily. And once you accept them, you can be like, okay, you can let go of them. You can let go of these worries and truly try to focus on what's around you. I think it's accepting that. And then when you're with people, it's accepting who you are, like these different worries that you're having, whilst also accepting them. I think that you're not going to be obviously making the most of them if you're not accepting them, if you're not accepting who they are and therefore enjoying them. I also think that I have to say that the honesty, I think, only has to come if you're in a safe space. If you do not feel like you're in a safe space, if these people are not people that you're comfortable around, I think do not necessarily be honest with them. But that's only in specific cases, and I think that I think it also, needless to say, that oftentimes you're not going to always be I just think you're not always going to be expressing it, your true honest thoughts, even when you're in a safe space. So I encourage to do that. And lastly, it's once you've tried to accept and be honest with yourself, it's going to be easier for you to then notice and move on to these smaller things. And they're not always going to be smaller things, but simply these things that you don't observe or notice on the day-to-day. And overall, that's just going to make you be more present. I think that's what's going to make you more present and more engaged with what's around you. And I think this isn't like the recipe to being in the moment. It's just mental notes that you can take to feel more present. But I mean, yeah, it's a difficult thing, or it's a hard thing to master and think about, because you're always going to be dominated by these different worries, or not you're always going to be, but it's hard to fight back against these worries. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I really don't know. I just think, I don't know. First day of fall. I think that good things are to come. There's a lot of change with fall. Different colors, different feelings. We're falling back into a little bit of darkness, but I think that's okay. Yeah, I don't have much else to say, but bro, it was like pink sky when I first started recording, but now it's just getting dark. Okay.